All right, traders, welcome on back here this Friday afternoon at 7-Eleven. That is July 11th, so you know what that means. Hope you got your Slurpees from 7-Eleven. Great to have Kevin, Michael, Leda, Larry, all of us just joining us here. We wished Margaret a happy weekend, at least. She just dipped out just a moment ago. Great to have all of our students and members back, though, inside our live trading room. If you're joining us, though, otherwise, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Popping up right below where my webcam would be. I don't know what happened. I think the hamster got stuck in the webcam again. I don't know. No, but otherwise, down below at Cyber Trading U, let me actually fix the banner on the bottom there. All right, perfect. All right, cool. So let's jump right into it. The market obviously is just holding here. It started to fill a little bit of the overnight gap. I wasn't really worried at all in pre-market. I just figured eventually we could start to see higher lows. I didn't know if we'd look to really blast too much up higher. So we've had a couple of great trades, at least otherwise, and some name brand stocks have done pretty nicely. NVIDIA, of course, was the star of the morning, at least here for us inside our room. Bill and a bunch of us inside our room here took care of NVIDIA, whether it was option calls or it was the ETF NVDL. But this was a phenomenal trade, though, from today. It broke above resistance pretty early, even after if you had waited the first 5 minutes. Well, it had built support pretty well, not even off of 165, but just like kind of off of 164 and change. Really, that just means as it looks to make a higher high, well, it's 9:43, 9:45 in the morning. Let me just ask our students, Bill and Grant and Dave and Carlos, who had a great week so far, a few weeks at least. Jay and Alan, Tim, Kathleen, Wendy. What time's reversal time? What time do we expect reversal? Sam knew where I was going with this right away. He's been around the block long enough. Right, 10:30 in the morning. So what does that mean here? It topped off pretty much right at 10:30, even a little bit afterwards. But you were in good positioning early with NVIDIA. Thankfully, it popped. It just continued with that trend. A couple other stocks that continued with great trends, though, from today. How about this SRFM? This thing was phenomenal as well. I mean, pushed up almost without retracement at first. Then, we ended up seeing the big pullback a little prior to 10:30 there. But then it actually bounced back up one more time, built another higher low, pushed back up to retest the highs. And obviously, it's kind of washed up now at this point here, the SRFM trade. But nice morning move, right? For a summer Friday where you kind of set the bar low. This is, as good as you could ask. Now, that's as good as you could ask. This is as crazy as you can, wish for and dream for and, one in a million, right? Don't get me wrong, we did so well on BMNR, so there's always hope and optimism there that maybe potentially this could turn into the next one. But it's kind of a reach at first. So that INKT, T, whatever it is, let me actually just get the news out on this right now because I don't think, maybe I ran through it early. I didn't have my caffeine in me early. I got it in me now, that's for sure. Got a quad from my local coffee shop. All right, so MINK shares trading higher after the company announced a that's right, the publication in Oncogene. I didn't take the time to look into this, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe I can chat GPT it and kind of just toss it in there, summarize it for all of us here in just a moment. But, metastatic testicular cancer. So, hey, I like hearing this stuff, obviously, as a guy, Grant, Bill, Kevin, all Sam. It sounds like a good headline, but as far as whatever drug they have or, formula, drug, therapy, whatever, is it FDA approved? Either way, this thing made a hell of a run, and there could be even more here for the afternoon before the end of it all, because this is where with program trading, you start getting freaky with different runs and numbers and thoughts. So what I mean by that is, well, it's at $66. This was at $8 this morning. I don't think a single one of us thought that today this would be at $66 when it was trading at 8 earlier. Well, let me ask us here. Grant, Sam, Bill, Alicia, and you got Elmer, Farzad, Jim, scrolling down just the list. What common set of price levels, or not even that, is there a psychological price level that's not showing on this screen perhaps here, but is there a psychological price level that stands out as a huge resistance ahead here for this trade? Not even 70, not even 80, not even 90. Let's go triple digit there. Let's go that Benjamin Franklin number, right? 100. And that's basically what happened with the BMNR. Blew way over $100 over time, actually. But Hey, when this was trading at 70, 80 bucks, there was at least a higher likelihood you get to 100 at that stage. So going back towards the other one, at least the INKT, there's a shot now because with this still making higher lows, and if it were to make a higher high, all bets are truly off. Now, let's just go over to the long-term graph too, because there's a little validation to that, little confluence here, because probably on the daily chart reflects better. Probably got to go back here. Just give me a moment here, guys. One moment. Bad radio here, bad radio. All right, no, but seriously, this ended up having a pretty good historical level, right around 112-ish, $112-ish, 110 maybe you can go with. Then here's our psychological 100 level. So I would just use this area put together, the combination of them, for potential resistance ahead, especially with this still just building higher lows. As long as this is building higher lows, there's at least a chance, right? So what a trade this has been for us, but what a morning for kind of like a dinky Friday, summer Friday. We're in the dog days of summer. I don't mean to sound pessimistic when I say that, guys, but I've been there before where I overshot my expectation, and just you start getting death by 1,000 paper cuts. You start taking trades that you should not be taking. So you set the bar low, and then if these trades start popping up, and then you have the confidence in that trade to jump in, then ride it out. And obviously, when the results are much greater than you expected, at least heading into the market open, you feel a hell of a lot better about yourself by the end of the day, at least compared to otherwise, like setting the bar super high, like, oh, I'm gonna make like 5 grand today, and then you take a bunch of crap trades because you keep trying, and just it's not there. It's not there for the taking. So little psychology thought there for us this afternoon. Got that from a Sun Tzu book. No, I'm kidding. I already said that joke earlier. All right, so let's go from top to bottom here. See what we could build up for this afternoon. The INKT, easily going to put this on our watch list, though, for right now. It's category 5. Give me a moment here, guys. My platform kind of freaking out here a little bit. One moment. I don't know what's happening here. My scanner just kind of tweaking out here. There we go. Finally. I didn't know if that was me or my platform, my internet. We're good. All right. So FTFT, this actually just took me out before here, and I guess it's trying to bounce back up. Is that what's happening there, Kevin? We did pretty well on this trade just before. Actually, I got to say, this was like my trade of the day. This got me pretty nicely towards my day's pay, but this basically held its support pretty well. 240 point of control. I'm going to go over this just in our next set of classes coming up, going into the next month or so. But otherwise, this became great support over time. It's just the CVP. And then from there, ran up from that point. Now, I was hoping for 330, this area, to become the next 240. And it tried at first, but then came back down. I took half my trade out earlier at 326, and I got stopped out on the second half at 297. So pretty happy with this trade altogether, personally. We had called it out just live inside our room. So I know a lot of our students had jumped in on that. Just I worked with one of our traders, at least in coaching. I had a message from one of us on the side. But yeah, with that said, I mean, it's trying to go back up one more time here. So it doesn't hurt for us to put this back on our list at this point. I thought this was going to crash and burn, and that was it. So, I want to try and jump back in on this if I can. Matter of if it gives me the chance to. All right, above ABVE. This was a hell of a trade also from today. Wow, I actually forgot about this for a moment. So 43 cents to begin the morning yesterday, $4.30 at one point here today, pretty much, right? So 1,000% move. It's done. Game over. And actually, speaking of that, I'm sorry. 1 second. Let me just jump back to the INKT trade. Told you I had my coffee in me. No, but seriously, with INKT, going back to psychological levels, not even like 100 as your like triple digit number. There we go. But think about this number here, percentage wise, 768%. I feel like, if buyers are really in control of this, and if they're looking for some measured move at this stage in the trade, wouldn't shock me if this gets up to 1,000% here today. So, going back to psychological targets, numbers, etc. ZEP, not a bad chart, bad order book though. Done with that. Workhorse, this also had a bad order book actually. It looks like it filled in though. Okay. Okay. This filled back in a lot more. Good. I was nervous about this at first. This was going up so nicely, but the order book was thinning out a lot. Pretty unusual for the stock there. So I was pretty delicate on it. I didn't jump in. So had some shakes to it over time. It kept going up. Then eventually we had our larger retracement here. So now at this stage, what's going to happen? Well, for right now, I do appreciate the balance, and as long as the order book stays pretty, filled in, like the spread tight liquid order book, it's good for right now. I'll add it back to our watch list here. New egg here. This is just very thin. This is paper thin. Look at that. You can't even see a single order here at this price ladder here on the matrix. So we are moving away from that one pretty quick. UMAC was also a nice trade. UMAC was the trade that at least got me barely any money this morning, but something. So off of 1050 it was, I think, or maybe 1070 at the time, but pushed up pretty well. And then, hey, I ended up getting out at the time going into reversal hour, 1030 Eastern, but it kept going, grinding on up. And then from there, it kind of backed off after testing 13. Let's just take a look here because if I'm not mistaken, broke well above that at least. Broke well above that. Yeah, a couple of different tops here on these wicks, roughly around 1230-ish, 1290-ish, loose range at least there. The more it could lay over that area as support going into next week, week after, there's a thought for this to make like a swing move over time, but I wouldn't expect that today at least. So we're going to move away from this one for right now. Keep it going, keep it going. I don't even know what I just clicked on right there. One of those trades that looked horrible. All right, we'll keep it moving though. Not even going to waste time on that. RCAT, this, I gotta say, this proved me not wrong. This just surprised me. This made a better bounce heading into the late morning, early afternoon than I thought it would make. So I was calling it out here too, right off of 810, saying, hey, it's at least holding support. Looks pretty good. I just didn't jump in. I didn't think it was going to like make 50-cent move up at least. So pretty good run. Just the only thing now is that it's a little slow. So if you're expecting more and more and more and more out of it, a little tough to do. Does it hurt for us to put this trade on our watch list for the afternoon? Not necessarily, because it's near like at least recent highs, not necessarily like the HOD. But as long as it's kind of sticking around here, order book obviously is going to remain pretty liquid. So all that checks out. All right, what else we got here, folks? Michael, Brad, Kathleen, Stephen, Wendy, Leda, Grant, all of our members here. You let me know anything else looking good across the board. VOR, this looks pretty good. We traded this back like at the end of last week, from the beginning of this week rather, and going back up for right now, I guess, right? So, it's at the high of the day now. Good order book. Big resistance, though. Look at these icebergs. Almost two big orders out there, quite frankly. 33,000 here, 18,000 here. Then obviously the two big ones, 114,000 at 296, then 136,000 shares at $3. So it's tough for me to expect for this to just shoot up so fast. I'll put it on our list because at least in terms of the chart, the speed of the trade, the pace of the trade rather, it's not high risk. So now something to mention though, unless if Fausto or myself specifically say, these are day trade callouts. Keep that in mind. So what we're putting on our watch list, I am not intending on holding over the weekend at least, right? If I know what the company is, who they are, what they're about, there's at least a shot, but you got to take a look at the graph, the chart. So, VOR, I don't know what the hell they do. I don't really even care too much just yet, at least just yet. There's a bunch of good swing trade stocks. I mean, hey, you don't need to look anywhere aside from NVIDIA, right? Of all things. NVIDIA and IBIT is a pretty safe combination there for a swing trade going forward. I should say that. All right, folks, I'll tell you, there is so much that is up right now, percentage-wise, at least on my scanner. If there's anything from your side that looks good, just let me know. A lot of like small cap, no-name companies that I don't even know. This Hollow is bad, so I just saw this trading at 650. This is trading as high as like $11 early this morning. So a little show and tell. Just want to show what happens at least when a stock like this that we have on our day trading watch list, at least here, fails to hold support. You could probably even just go from here, right? Failed to break higher, just broke lower, game over. EXK, a little slow silver stock, I guess. I think another silver company, AEM. Give a shout out to my guy George in the chat board here, one of our longtime students. What else we got for silver? Pan American, Fausto's favorite. Ooh, this is up like 3.8%. Having a pretty good day today, isn't it? Let's get some other like metals out there, like NEM's a gold mining stock. I'm just kind of comparing everything. Little apples to oranges here. You know what? That PAAS, though, kind of interesting. It's got a lively chart here heading into the afternoon. So, out of all of those, at least, I don't mind kind of slipping this on our list, probably near the back end. It's not up or down like a lot, but that's an interesting trade. The EXK is up the most, percentage wise, that is at least. This just might be a little slow here. It seems like it was like flat the last three candles in a row. So, that's where you got to be careful. You don't want to waste your time too much. Going back to the gainers list here as we wrap up the gainer side. CENX wasn't looking bad at all. That might just about do it. ASTS, last one. We're familiar with this trade. Space stock. It's just dragging back down now already, so we'll pass. All right, we'll hop over to the loser side here, folks. Listen, if you're on social media, hey, all hands on deck. We want you to participate as well. If you're joining us here this Friday afternoon on YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, X, etc., whatever social media platform you like to rant on. That's what I like to say. At least I'm a Twitter guy. So, if you have any call outs for us here, let me know. Anything else that looks good, especially for students like Grant, Roger, Sam, Leda. Of course, Yeah, a lot of these trades dead on arrival. DOA. Mm, I mean, the market was at the highs just before, right? We're just grinding on up. So not a whole lot that it was like down big percentage wise. That's more of like a well-known company. QUBT maybe, down a little bit here today. Got out on Rigetti, took a loss there, and looks like Quantum's just a little weak this afternoon. There's no need to try and short them when the markets are just inching up a little bit. It's just like not a need. Is it tradable? Yeah. If you're like trying to practice your shorts, go for it. But just as far as making money, opportunity cost, in terms of time at least, probably just better trades to work with. All right, folks. Again, let me know anything else that you see. Just type it in the chats here. I'll just take a look at Benzinga Pro first. Newegg, that is really thin on the order book, so I have no interest in that. SGN, we saw before. SLNH, maybe we'll look at that there possibly. Bunch of bad things otherwise. So listen, like I said earlier, it is true. I'm not trying to sound pessimistic here. I'm just trying to sound real, trying to make you save some money by not jumping into some erroneous trades. But otherwise, we're in the dog days of summer. So don't force anything. Don't jump into something just because it's making one pop on one candle. You got to wait to see where the volume's coming in at. Check level 3, check level 4. Make sure the order book at least is pretty filled in. So a lot of these trades scrap off right away because they're not really trading good volume. SLNH here is a maybe, actually. This isn't so bad, but most of the other trades we've gone through already are kind of garbage. This here too is a little slow, but even after this shake, I guess it's trying to go back up. Wouldn't hurt for us to kind of slip this on our list here at the end, but that's it. SLNH. All right, listen, folks, on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc. Just again, make sure to hit the follow or like button right down there, and just join us each and every morning going into next week. We stream live Monday to Friday. We have live podcasts, workshops, webinars all throughout each week. Sam saying uranium ticker is joining late. Let's see. Yeah, they're up a little bit, right? They're up a small amount. They're good swing trade opportunities, I think, though, more than anything. More than anything, I think they could be good swing trading stocks. And if they pop for this afternoon, maybe later on, my guy Rich will call it out then, right? Probably around like 3:05 Eastern. But otherwise, folks, hey, if you're on social media, enjoy the weekend. We're in the dog days of summer. That's actually not such a bad thing, right? Hopefully it's like gorgeous out where you are. And if there's nothing else moving out there, then start the weekend early. How about that? That's what we train for. That's what we trade for, both together. So This is the time where we can enjoy and do the finer things in life, take time off with our families and enjoy life with our friends, whatever it may be. All right, so enjoy the weekend either way. We'll be back on Monday for you. And then on our live trading room, Grant, Leda, Sam, Tim, all of us here. Tim on the SGN. Nah, this thing's like flat and dead. It's just, I mean, it's got a good order book, but yeah, lower highs, maybe possibly could pop. Again, that sounds very 50-50. So if you were already in, I'm rooting you on. But just as far as like direction and chart goes, maybe we'll call it out if it does. And I mean that too, because like I'm not just saying that. It's not just filler comment, because keep in mind we use Benzinga Pro all day, every day, myself and Rich, both, and some of our students here as well. But this is as real time as it gets. We got TradingView Scanner as well. Actually, a great segue there, Tim. Thank you very much indirectly for that, because keep in mind, folks, we had just posted our latest YouTube video just regarding TradingView and their scanner. Little tip on that, actually. To use this screener, it's free. But to update it every 10 seconds in time, like I showed in this video, that actually you gotta like get their like premium subscription or whatever. So just want to clarify on that one thing. But if you had yet to click on our YouTube video, just make sure that you do so. If you're on YouTube, obviously you're good there. Just go to our channel. Otherwise, just inside our trading room, we just repost the link. All right, folks. But hey, have a great weekend either way. We'll be back coming up in just a moment. Talk to you soon.